On today's show, the Dallas Mavericks get a big, and by big, I mean a 50-point win against the Utah Jazz. How did they get there? How did Luka Doncic make NBA history? We'll talk about that and more on today's Locked On Mavs.
I'm Luka Doncic, and this is Locked On Mavericks podcast.
The Dallas Mavericks are NBA champions. Bang! Bang! It's good! And the Mavericks have won the game!
If you don't believe, you shouldn't be here.
Welcome. You are locked on to the Dallas Mavericks. My name is Nick Angstadt, media member and NBA channel manager for Locked On Podcast Network. You're part of the Mavs. Your first listen today, where the best way you can help us grow the show is to listen every day, leave a 5-star review, comment, and like the video. And let us know in the comment section. Give me 2 words about Luka. Just 2. All you get is 2. And of course, you know we're going to let it ride. Oh, 50-point win. Today's episode is brought to you by FanDuel. Make every moment more. Right now, new customers get $150 in bonus bets with any winning $5 money line bet. Go to FanDuel.com/LockedOn to get started. And joining me, as always on the post-game prodigy. What you got for me, Slightly Biased?
Feeling good, man. 50 burger. Hard to be mad at that.
Hard to get mad at a game like this. It's a feel-good win. Like, you know, there's wins that don't feel good. Like, you feel gross after it. It's the Ted Lasso. I believe that you can win a game and still lose. This was not one of those games. This is a game where you won, and the Mavs needed one of these games, right? Like, they needed a win where it just felt like, okay, you're the better team coming into this game. They were. I mean, no Larry Markkinen. Walker Kessler has been benched for some reason.
They said, someone told me it was because it was just getting back from an injury, I guess.
He was out for like a couple weeks with an injury, and then he hasn't started. It's been like 5 or 6 games, though, since. So I don't know what's going on.
He was out there in garbage time. Like, literally, when it was a 50-point game.
He was. I should have talked to my boss about that more, I guess, a little bit more. David Locke, voice of the Jazz and host of Locked On Jazz. But just a wire-to-wire win that the Mavs, I think they needed that win because you just needed to come into a game where you were supposed to beat a team, and you did beat the team, and it came easy to you, and it just everything worked at like all over the place.
Yeah, no, I was saying this before we went live, where there are losses that are so bad, you just kind of say, all right, just throw that away and just go back to the drawing board, like whatever. There, like, wins like tonight are fun, but it's hard to take away a lot of things when you win by 50 and it's garbage time the entire game. But
so for the next
it's still great as a fan.
For the next 28 minutes, we will say nothing.
But it is just kind of like, all right, this player hit a 3, but it was a 35-point game. So it's like, am I like, all right, he's got the 3-point shot down.
It's nice that we're still early in the season where this is going to like recorrect all of the plus minus and the stats, like all that kind of stuff. Like it'll. Yeah,
I think like the standings on ESPN already has it updated, and they're up to like +3 now. Where that was like +0.2 before the night or something like that.
Oh, with the point differential?
Yeah, point differential. I don't know what the net rating's going to do.
They could have used this point differential during the in-season tournament. That's all I got to say.
Yeah, I mean, they just flopped those Pelicans games, and they're playing in it.
Ugh. Yeah, because the Pelicans now are playing the Lakers. The Mavs could have beat the Lakers in the second round. God, next year.
I'm watching the ESPN game right now, and they're showing Rashawn Holmes' poster on Walker Kessler. That was a monster dunk.
It was a monster dunk. It was like right on Walker Kessler's face.
Yeah.
All right. On today's show, we'll get into the game. We got to talk about, is Dereck Lively better than Walker Kessler already? We spent all last year talking about, well, if the Mavs could only get a Walker Kessler. And then we were like, well, what if Dereck Lively is the Walker Kessler of this year? He might be better than him right now. And so we'll talk about that. We'll get into a ton of other stuff with this game. Exum started. What do we think about Exum starting? But slightly, I want to start here. Luka Doncic made NBA history, which is a sentence I think I've said a bunch on this show in the past. This one baffled me. The first ever 25-point triple-double in a half. And he had 29 points, 10 rebounds, and 10 assists.
I think he missed 3 free throws in the first half. Like, he could have easily had a 30-point triple-double.
Absolutely insane from Luka Doncic. What did you see from Luka that worked well, especially early on?
I mean, if he's just knocking down those deep threes, it's impossible. It's over for you. There's just pretty much, unless he gets really upset at the refs at some point, which doesn't really happen that much anymore. if he's hitting deep threes, it is just curtains. Because then you got to start. Oh, do I shade over to help a little bit? And then the moment that happens, you get put in rotation as a defense, and he finds the open guy, and it's
every time.
And if the other guys are hitting shots too on top of that, you're just not going to be able to keep up. Especially a team that's down, like not good to begin with in the Jazz, but a team that's missing 3 key guys. You're just not going to be able to keep up in any real significant way.
You can't. Once he starts hitting his threes, like you said, you got to face guard him, and then you just you can't give him any space, because if you do, he can just push through. They started I don't know. These are not their 5 best players. There's no way. It's just so the Jazz started Keontae George, who's their rookie point guard, who I like, who's had some good.
Yeah, I like him too.
For sure. Ochai Agbaji. They started Simone Fontecchio, who some of you may not have even known him coming into this game. They started Omer Yurtseven instead of Walker Kessler. We talked about that. And then John Collins, who Mavs fans pined for a long time. And I don't know, man. I think the Hawks may have been right about that one.
I'm not going to lie. I said on my stream to just circle that name, though. Just circle his name. Just circle his name moving forward. John
For the
Collins.
Mavs?
When they get connected to a player, it's really rare that he's back to 40% from 3 this year. He didn't play well tonight, but no one played well tonight. Besides Taylor Hendricks, he was actually somewhat good.
Taylor Hendricks, this may have been his best game in the NBA, because he's been down to the G League, I think.
This was only his 3rd game, and the most minutes he's played, I would have to guess, pretty comfortably. So he was pretty fine tonight.
Since this was a 50-point win, we might as well. You would take John Collins? What would you trade John Collins for? Where do you see him on the Mavs?
I don't know. I'm assuming this would be a depreciating asset type of thing, and you get him for just contracts and maybe a second or something, but. It just seems very Mavericksy, right? This player that we've kind of been monitoring for a long, long time and been linked to, and now he's kind of gettable for cheap, and he's big. That's pretty much it.
He's like a theoretical rebounder, obviously a lob threat for Luka. He can space the floor. He would fit. I don't know. I don't think I would start him.
No. I wouldn't start him. But then he's an expensive guy to come off your bench. That's where it kind of crumbles a little bit, but.
He is. And then you get to the question of, well, Tim has been pretty good, and his 3-point shooting, you and I have both said it's so valuable on this team. Hardy hasn't really stepped into that Tim role necessarily, and so would you take John Collins, who's not that great of a defender either?
Yeah.
Would you take him just for the extra size, rebounding, bigness off the bench? I don't know. Would you trade Tim for him? That'd become the question then.
Yeah, probably not. And then it gets down to okay, then what are the Jazz accepting? Rashawn Holmes and Maxey? I don't even know if that gets it done contractually, but if it does, why are the Jazz agreeing to that at all?
Yeah. I don't have his contract in front of me, but I don't know how much longer.
It's 20 something. It's $26 million. I want to say something along those lines.
But is it 3 more years, 4 more years? I can see that maybe
it's 2 and an option.
Years. Yeah. Yeah, that's not just to have one less year on those contracts. I don't think that's enough to do it.
My bad. I really didn't want to get into trade talk, because I've openly said I don't want to do trade talk right now at all. Anytime someone asks me, "Hey, what do you feel about the trade market?" I'm like, I haven't even begun to look into it, so I don't know.
I was doing that too, and then I opened it up on subtext for questions in the mailbag, and I got 40 questions, and 25 of them were about trades, and I was like, all right, I just can't anymore. I've got to do it. So I did the trade pod this week about Dorian, talked about some other wings that the Mavs could get their hands on, and some other stuff like that. But this is what you talk about when you get a 50-point win, because man, it felt good. It was a wire-to-wire win. Luka Doncic just really made it happen. I mean, he set it off. Nobody could do anything for him. We got started on this conversation because the Jazz started a really weird 5. The only player theoretically that could guard Luka on this team is Taylor Hendricks, and I think he's 5 years from being able to do that.
Yeah, and I mean Kendrick Nunn is their best. I keep accidentally calling Chris Dunn Kendrick Nunn. I have no idea why I keep doing this. It has been a problem I've had their entire careers. It makes no sense, but no, Chris Dunn is their best perimeter defender, I guess, but he's too small.
He is a good perimeter defender, but
he's too small though. And Luka, they got into it. If you're a role player, you really should not be getting into it, Luka, because that's when he goes real nuclear.
That happened. When did those texts happen?
Third quarter?
In the third quarter. 3 minutes and 30 seconds left. The game is just it's broken wide open. I mean, it was almost a 40-point lead at that point. And so Luka Doncic scores. Chris Dunn points a finger in his face. Luka said something he didn't like. Chris Dunn got his finger real into Luka's face, almost looked like he picked his nose. And you can hear Luka on the broadcast, I don't know why I don't know why he's mad. I'm just busting his ass, basically.
Yeah.
And like,
well, I think on the broadcast they showed a replay, and Luka didn't even score that play. He kicked it out to Tim, who hit a three. But like, I think Luka might have had Kendrick Nunn's. Kendrick Dunn. I really don't know why I keep calling him that. Chris Dunn, Jesus. I'm telling you, it's a weird problem. Must be some weird mental disorder I have. But no, he like had his arm locked. I think he got a little bit mad about that. And then I don't know why Luka got a tech. Because the refs didn't see that. I promise they didn't see that. They just gave out offsetting techs.
But they wouldn't review it, and they just saw two guys yapping at each other.
Yeah.
But then like, Colin Sexton came in to break it up. Seth Curry came in to break it up. And from my vantage point, it looked like Colin Sexton was the angriest out of anybody.
Yeah, he was going crazy.
He was screaming at everybody, and coach was holding him back. And then he was like pushing the coach, like, don't hold me back. And he was going at Seth Curry a ton. And I was like, imagine being so furious at Seth Curry. Like, what could Seth Curry have possibly done to you?
Seth Curry just came in and literally just separate the two. It wasn't like he came storming in like the Rondo and Chris Paul fight from years ago where Brandon Ingram just came in and threw a punch because he wanted to be involved. Like, he was just coming in to just separate them. I don't know what happened there, but yeah.
Very strange. But coming up, let's talk about what else we saw in this game. What did we see from Lively? What did we see from other players? Exum in the starting lineup. Let's talk about that. Is Lively better than Walker Kessler right now? We'll get into all that and more coming up. Today's episode brought to you by FanDuel. FanDuel Sportsbook has more things than you can even imagine. They have all kinds of spreads and props and odds that you can put lines on, that you can put money down on. Go check it out. And right now, if you're a new customer, you can put down $5 on any money line. And if your team wins on that money line, you get $150 in bonus bets. Go check out the in-season tournament games. They've already got Lakers minus 1.5 on the spread, minus 122 on the money line. So the Lakers are a slight favorite in that one. And then they've got the Pacers Bucks in that one. Bucks minus 4.5. So they're a little bit of a decent favorite there. All kinds of stuff for the in-season tournament. They got star player props. They have a bunch of other things too. Like, who's the MVP? Damian Lillard plus 380. Giannis plus 430 to win the MVP. LeBron is plus 430. It's pretty good odds right there for LeBron if you want to put money down on that. Go check it out. Again, FanDuel.com/LockedOn. Thanks, everybody, for hanging out with us on Locked On Mavs, being part of the show, part of the Raccoon Squad, listening every day. I'm here at the AAC still after the game. Man, there was so many people that came up to me today, said they're part of the Raccoon Squad. I gave out lots of stickers. Stay safe, all of you out there. And, man, it was awesome to see each and every one of you at this game. All right, Slightly, let's get into some more stuff from this game. We talked about Luka. He just a dominant performance, 40 points. 10 board. Were you concerned that he only put up 1 assist and 0 rebounds in the third quarter when he played most of the third quarter?
No, not at all. I don't care about anything that happened from the third quarter of this game onwards, pretty much. Unless it was from like Omax or something.
Yeah, we'll maybe talk about some of the young players a little bit later. Let's talk about Dereck Lively. Dereck Lively played 24 minutes. He had 10 points. He had 4 rebounds. He had 2 block shots at the rim. And he was just finishing a whole bunch of stuff. And, man, like, he just looks he's the part on every level. Mm-hmm. I thought he was pretty good defensively in this game. They had a couple of baskets that got around him on the rim because that team played a little smaller. Gjorgjievski can move around and got some putbacks. But what did you see from Dereck Lively in this game? Yeah,
I thought he was really good. Did a great job contesting shots, and even some of those offensive putbacks by Gjorgjievski were not Lively's fault at all because he's having to rotate over and stuff, and no one comes to put a body on Gjorgjievski. But yeah, he you're saying better than Walker Kessler. I don't know. Walker Kessler was really good last year. This year, yeah, I think Lively's been comfortably probably better than Walker Kessler has been. But this is what we were saying before the season, or at least what I was saying was like, okay, people say like you can't depend on a rookie center. I was like, he just has to be as good as Kessler was last year, or Mark Williams or Jalen Duren or any of these guys. And he's definitely been that. And you could see how much of a how different this team looks when Lively's playing this year versus, where they were last year, where they were completely lost.
So different. And the defense looks so different when he's out there. I mean, their defense just kind of falls apart without him because he can be that fulcrum, that anchor, and guys can know that they can take chances on some stuff on the perimeter. And when you can do that, you force some more turnovers. 19 turnovers for the Jazz in this one. Some of that is just them being a real young team, really inexperienced team. But some of that was Mavs getting steals. They had 11 steals in this game. And the Mavs were just taking advantage of some of the inexperience and some of the chances they could take with Dereck Lively like on the back line and doing that. He also tipped a bunch of rebounds too. So like you look at it, he had 4 rebounds. You think, oh, 7-footer, how could he only get 5 rebounds? Well, Luka had 10, and he had 10 in the first half.
Yeah.
A lot of those are on purpose. Like, he either tips it or fights for the rebound. Luka comes over and gets it, and like it's like the Westbrook rebounds, right? Where they want him to get it so he can push in the fast break and all that.
Yeah, no, his stats weren't don't jump off the page at you, but I thought he was really good in his pretty limited minutes. I mean, 24 minutes, right? A blowout. Just nice to see that he's not out there with the garbage time guys. That's a big vote of confidence.
He's not out there at the garbage time guys. It's another thing I recognized today. That's been a couple times now where they play garbage time. Like, why is your rookie center not out there getting some more experience? And to me, I think they don't want him to get hurt. Like, they just need him so badly.
They can't afford it.
It's such like a vote of we need you so badly. Please don't get hurt. Like, you're one of our most important players. Like, if anybody had ever considered he's not the 3rd most important player, which you've said, I've said, he's their 3rd most important player. Like, that is the vote of confidence towards that the Mavs didn't want to play him in garbage time.
Yeah, no, and you saw Walker Kessler out there in garbage time. Granted, I guess he's been working his way back from an injury, but I mean, it is rare. Even rookies who play a lot, you see them out in garbage time a lot because they're rookies. They need minutes, they need learning experiences, and then garbage time gives them really the opportunity to be like, okay, now I can be like a focal point and do things and try things that I wouldn't have tried otherwise. But not Lively.
The other thing I think Lively benefits from that Kessler hasn't in his career, except for when he played with Conley briefly.
Yeah,
was, it's a point guard. Like, just
they
a
have
real
no
point guard.
guard.
Like Luka makes Lively look better on offense than he probably is at this point in his career. I mean, he doesn't score on his own at all. Like he's got his assisted shots have got to be like 80%.
No, I would actually guess 95. Like, I don't even know how many offensive putbacks he has because that would be the only shots, right?
It would be the only one.
It would have to be I'd be shocked if it was under 90. But I guess now that I'm thinking about it, it could be. That's a lot. That's a big number, 90%. But yeah, I mean, like we said earlier, I like Keyonte George, but he's like a guy who probably shouldn't be a point guard, but they're trying out at point guard, and there's gonna be a lot of learning curve problems there.
Slightly, I'm a genius. He's at 80% exactly assisted.
Really? That's really shocking to me.
80%. Well, it's the putbacks, right? It's that other stuff because there's nothing else that he does on offense. You're not giving them the ball. Yeah. There's maybe been 2 post ups where he gets the ball, makes a move, but with today's assist numbers, you probably still give the player that dumped it down to him.
No, they're definitely giving them assists for that.
Yeah, for those kind of moves.
Go look at John Stockton's assists. Trust me, they gave those out back in the day, too.
Lively also moves a lot better than Walker Kessler. That was a big question with Walker Kessler coming into his career. It's like how much his foot speed can move. I remember talking to Richard Stamen, Mavs draft, about him, and he was so down on Walker Kessler because of his foot speed, because of all the stuff that he saw with him at Auburn, and that he just didn't think he could move his feet fast enough in the NBA. But he ended up, I think Will Hardy put him in a lot of really good situations in his first year, and he ended up being really, really good. And he also, isn't playing with anybody in this game either. So
yeah. He's just really good next to a guy like Markkanen, too. And Markkanen's not playing in this game. And it's just so bad lineup. I mean, there's no two ways around it.
They have no guards. Like, Jordan Clarkson didn't play in this game. Colin Sexton was just getting mad at everybody. I think Keyonte George will get there eventually. But, he's a rookie point guard that wasn't, a high pick. So.
And wasn't really a point guard. More just like a combo guard that they're, playing point out of necessity, really.
And that's really all they have. They have Keyonte George, Jordan Clarkson, Colin Sexton, Taylor Horton-Tucker, literally all 4, and then Kendrick, don't call me Chris Dunn. Are all these combo guards basically is what they have. So if you wanted to tank with a team, this is how you do it. You don't have a point guard. You do all this, and then they have a ton of injuries, obviously. But it's Jazz.
THT. You want to know what Lakers fans called THT?
Untradeable.
No, THT. Terribly hoisted threes.
What did he had 3 for 3 this game. He was
I mean,
lighting it up.
Lighting it up, baby. Talon Horton-Tucker. Hey, maybe circle him.
Let's talk about Exum in the starting lineup because I thought that was a really good move without Josh Green, without Grant Williams in the lineup. So let's talk about what Exum brought to the table. And then there's a combo of players that I really, really liked in this game. And we'll talk about that more. We'll talk about that and more coming up. Today's episode brought to you by Prize Picks. Prize Picks is daily fantasy made easy. They got all kinds of stuff. You can go to Prize Picks right now, see what's available for you. And let's say that there is a, Taylor Swift's favorite sport now, football. She just discovered football. Many of you may have just discovered football. You can combine yards or touchdowns or receiving or like catches or all that. You just pick the more or less on the projections on Prize Picks, and you can combine that with the more or less the points projections for an NBA player. So if there's an NBA game and an NFL game going on at the same time, you can combine those, have some fun with it, put them on two screens. That's what we do now in today's day and age. You can also have all kinds of other stuff with Prize Picks. They have the reboot policy, so your entries stay in even if one of your players gets injured in football and basketball games. If you have a player that exits the game in the first half and does not return in the second, the player is rebooted. Prize Picks is the only daily fantasy sports platform with an injury insurance policy. That just makes sense. Go to prizepicks.com/LockedOnNBA. Use the code LockedOnNBA for first deposit match up to $100. Again, prizepicks.com. Promo code LockedOnNBA. Thanks, everybody, for hanging out with us on Locked On Mavs, being part of the show, part of the Raccoon Squad, listening every day. If you want to support the show, subscribe to the subtext, click the link in the description, text the number, and you will be sent Mavs text straight to your phone. I give updates all the time, daily. I do stuff during games. I'll send you a film breakdown where I'll sit down and watch a quarter and break down all the things that I see in it and all that kind of stuff. Subscribe to the subtext. All right, Slightly. Dante Exum in the starting lineup. What did you think about the move? Was it the right move by Jason Kidd with Grant Williams and Josh Green both out?
Yep, I love it. I mean, I've loved Dante Exum's minutes. We talked about it on here before. He just has to hit threes. And I think tonight he went 1 of 5, so he didn't even really shoot the 3-ball well and was hesitant to shoot them and then airballed one. So that's a little bit concerning because I think everything else he does is tremendous. And I think he could be a guy who gets like legit big minutes. Like what did he play tonight? Like 26 minutes? Like that's like he could be a 20-minute a game player on this team because he plays good defense. He's just incredibly smart, very good connector. But if he just has to hit threes, that's really it for him because he will get played off the floor in like bigger matchups and matchups against like better teams, obviously. But I love what Exum brings to the table. He's such a smart player, and that's just the direction the NBA is headed, where you got a bunch of smart guys on the floor and let them do stuff.
The shot is huge for him. You saw there was a moment, I think it was even in the first quarter, where he was in the right corner, which is being literally picked up and taken away right now. Right now, like they're taking
goodbye, Squidward Court.
They're taking the right corner away right there. But he was in the right corner and he was wide open. Luka kicked it over to him, and he didn't take the shot. He just drove in. And then a play later, I noticed Luka go up to him and dap him up and just say, like, shoot. Like he gave him the little shooting motion with his hand. Because Luka's always going to do that with players. If you're open, shoot it. You're out there for a reason. You're an NBA player. You can make him in practice. If Jason Kidd gives you the green light, go ahead and shoot him. And he took 5 this game. He made 1 of them. He's just got to get a little more confidence in that because that's never been a thing he's been good at in the NBA. I mean, we talked about him even coming in. What is Dante Exum going to bring to this team? He's athletic. He can make plays. He's a big guard. But his three-point shot and his shooting in general has never been very good. Then he goes over to Europe, shoots really well from 3, like 40% from 3 for 2 years. And then he comes back and we're like, all right, is this shot real? Does it continue on? And does it translate from playing over in Eurobasket and getting pounded to the floor during that EuroLeague final in that one? But the way that he can like just run things for a little bit, the Mavs need that so badly, like so badly. I was watching the Pacers play the other day in the in-season tournament, and I was like, man, the Mavs could just really use a TJ McConnell or an Andrew Nembhard, like just a point guard that literally just comes in, knows how to run things, is like attacks on defense, puts pressure on defense. Like they just need a guy like that real bad because Hardy hasn't really filled into that role. Curry hasn't necessarily been that role. It's like a playmaker, but Exum really does. Comes in, makes plays. He just doesn't score. But they don't need a perfect. They don't need a perfect player coming off the bench in that way. Exum would be if he could hit the 3 a little more, but they don't need a perfect player like that. I think they need Exum to play more.
Yeah, no, I fully agree. I'm all for increased Dante Exum minutes. And with Josh Green out, really, I mean, Exum is the guy who slots in. And even then, like, it's not like Josh Green. I mean, Exum's been better than Josh Green in most of the season.
Yes. Yep.
Like, he's just been flat out better. And I don't think Josh Green has the job security that just safely secures him more minutes than Exum. So that'll just be something interesting to watch over the course of the season. Because if he, like, starts shooting confidently and shoots, I don't know, like 36%, just around there.
Yeah.
A defenses at least have to, account for you. I mean, that is very important. That'd be huge.
We saw it happen with Derrick Jones Jr.
Yeah. teams like help off Derrick Jones Jr. and he burns them every time to the point where they have to stop doing it.
Exum was a plus 40 in this game.
Yeah, that's insane. Plus 40 is crazy.
Under 26 minutes, he was a plus 40, which is just insane. But good production from Exum. The combo I really liked was him and Curry together. I thought in that third quarter they kind of pushed it forward when Luka and Kyrie were off the court. They pushed the lead forward a little, and I just like that combo because you get the shooting with Curry, so you get the spacing, and then you get Exum running the offense a little. You get the defense with Exum, and Curry hasn't been a slouch on defense either.
No.
And in games like this where you're not playing against like multiple all-stars, I really like that combo coming off the bench.
Yeah, it's weird because Seth hasn't like shot that great this season, or at least as great as you would like expect him to. But he's pretty much done everything else really solidly. Like you said, he has not been a terrible defender this year. He at least puts in like maximum effort.
You know who's super happy about that is Rick Carlisle, because every time Rick Carlisle could bring up Seth Curry's an underrated defender, Rick Carlisle would bring that up, and he would say that every single time when he was on the Mavs.
Rick loves his guards, man. He just does.
Especially if you're 6'2".
Yeah, if you are a smaller guard, Rick loves you.
They had a lineup of was it Curry, JJ Redick, and Devin Harris? There's one lineup that he would just play all the time. Those three guards.
JJ Redick being a Maverick is just hilarious.
Speaking of, Kristaps Porzingis on with JJ Redick coming out today, I think, and he talks about Mavs stuff.
Yeah, I didn't think there was anything too crazy in it, or
like
anything we didn't know or already kind of knew.
No, I don't think they're going to reveal anything like that, but
no,
should be interesting. What did you see from Omax in this game? He got extended minutes. Jason Kidd before the game said Exum will have the Omax will have the opportunity to play today, and I was like, oh, it sounded very Game of Thrones to me. Like he will have the opportunity to play today. I played 21 minutes. What'd you see from him?
So he needs some seasoning, obviously, but he is so athletic and just big. I mean, he's huge. Like you see him out there, and he is huge, and he is so good individually as a defender. Even when he gets beat or is out of position, he recovers so fast that it's just like once he figures it out and plays in the NBA a little bit more. And just really understands, team defense, he's going to be a nightmare defensively. He's going to be really good. Offensively, I like how aggressive he is. Yeah. So the three ball doesn't fall, but he gets to the free throw line. I mean, I feel like even in his limited minutes, his per 36 free throw stats have to be insane.
It's got to be really good.
They have to be absolutely insane because it feels like even if he's playing for 2 minutes, he's going to the free throw line. At least one.
Because he just gets to a spot and then he just ducks down and then he has the ball in his hands. Then he just like pump fake, and somebody's gonna block him or somebody's. I
wonder if like his sort of because he is kind of people have called
6.5 free throws per 36 minutes, which is like more than Kyrie.
Yeah, that's pretty damn good, especially for a rookie. But no, I wonder if his just like kind of Bambi-esque-ness of him, where it just kind of he's so lengthy and stuff, and it does feel like he's learning how to walk at times when he runs around. If that gets him to the free throw line, because defenders they're so used to, all right, this is a fine-tuned NBA athlete who's so in control and so in control of his body that he knows exactly where he's going, and then Omax is just like throwing up wild angles, and you just have no choice but to foul him.
The thing with Omax is he's so eager, like so incredibly eager that there are times in this game when because he got in early in this game. I'm not talking about garbage time or anything like that. He got in a little early, and there's
whole
times
game was garbage time.
No, I'm just kidding. They cut it to 9. Hey, they cut it to 9 a couple times. There's just times when I was like, you're guarding no one, because he was just so eager to like, I'll run over to this guy, but I think we're so spoiled with Lively, knowing the defense and knowing where he's supposed to be. And it's a little easier to be a center, I think, to try and find that spot than it is to be a wing in the Mavs defensive system. Because if you're a wing, you've got to rotate all over the place and fill in gaps. And if you're a center, you just kind of stand back, make sure that you either drop or like rise to the screen and defend and all that. But with Omax, he's so eager that like I think he just like he makes the wrong choices at times. But like you said, he can recover really well. When he's one-on-one with somebody, it's not often that they score on him directly.
Yeah.
And it's just like him on an ISO. And then offensively, like you said, he gets to the free throw line. He hit a 3 in this game.
Yeah,
he hit a 3. His three-point shot looks all right. He's got a weird – I was looking at some still images of his three-point shot. And he's got a weird thing with his wrist where he, like, turns his wrist in.
Yeah.
On his three-point shot. But I think that they'll keep working on it. He's just going to take a little while, but I really think he'll get there, and I honestly think he'll get there this year where we're feeling, man, let's get some Omax minutes because he's actually producing and doing really good stuff.
I mean, that would be, everyone hates that classic front office line, like, oh, well, getting this player will be like a trade almost. But like, if
what was the one 2 years ago?
Tim Hardaway Jr. coming back was like a trade during the offseason.
That was last year,
Yeah.
Getting
But
do you think the new ownership will do that?
that would be hilarious. They don't even know who Omax is. I promise you. There's just no way. There's literally no way they know who Omax is. They might not even know who like Maxi Kleba is.
I met a 5-year-old today that can name the entire Mavericks lineup, like 1 to 15.
That's sick.
That 5-year-old knows more Mavericks than the new ownership does, I think.
Start teaching that 5-year-old Excel spreadsheets and analytics. They'll be in a front office.
I said he's going to take my job. He's going to take my job eventually.
No, we have higher ambitions. No, but I'll say this about Omax. No, I would say that we have higher ambitions for that kid. Get in the front office somewhere.
Be better than us. Yeah, make more than us. Do more.
I want to say something about Omax that's just going to sound dumb and trivial, but I mean, the way the bench reacts to anything he does, they obviously love this dude, and it's probably because I'm assuming he just busts his ass like in the practices and in workouts. That means something. It's stupid, but it means something.
Did he have a dunk? What was the big highlight?
He had a lob. He got a lob right after Rashawn Holmes had that nasty poster.
Yeah, he got a lob, and he caught it and dunked it, and they showed the bench, and the bench all stands up. Grant Williams, like, whips a towel, hits Lively right in the face with a towel, and, like, the whole bench was going crazy.
See, that's what I'm saying. That means something to me. It's stupid, but it does. You know,
well,
the bench is like, oh, hey,
when the bench is rooting for you, like, that means a lot, especially when it's genuine, right? We've seen – I mean, we saw the bench units with Theo and Tim, like, scream at everything, you know, and you're like, okay, well – but if it's a genuine, like, everybody really wants you to succeed, that's super awesome. You love to see.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think give it till like February. Omax could be like, you guys know Omax is shooting 38% from 3 over the last 12 games.
Yeah,
something like that.
If these injuries continue, like if the Josh Green injury lingers, which it's already 2 weeks, so.
I had a crazy thought that I don't even want to put out there on a platform that's not mine.
This is it. We're 32 minutes in. You got this. This is your time.
Kid had some weird comment recently where you're talking about someone getting more minutes. I forgot who it was. And he was like, well, there will be some injury stuff soon. It was like, he said it's something like that. And everyone like kind of insinuated he meant Tim Hardaway was going to, because I thought when he said that, I thought, oh, Tim might be out for several weeks. Right. But the Tim only missed 2 games?
Like he was going to Tanya Harding somebody? Like
I don't know. Now Josh Green is out 2 weeks and no one really even knows what
like a weird
injury
elbow
was.
Injury?
It was like, when did he injure his elbow? Now he's out.
Just walking around with a hammer like, I need minutes for these guys.
Or it's more like a baseball thing where they'll tell someone like, hey, you're hurt, your back's hurt, you're going on the injured list for 15 days. Like, Josh Green, your elbow. No, we saw something in the MRI that we didn't like. You're out 2 weeks.
Grant, you're not shooting the ball well. Your knee hurts. No, it doesn't. Kick. Yes, it does.
All right, Omax, get out there.
Run around like a deer. We love you. Everyone loves you. Look at this bench. Oh my gosh. All right, there you go. Let us know in the comment section. Say 2 words about Luka and Luka's game. Let me know. Subscribe to the show. We'll be back tomorrow. Dana Larson, she was here. She was sitting up there, and now she's going to be on Locked On Mavs tomorrow talking about this game. And talking about more with the Mavericks. So we'll be back tomorrow, and then Slightly and myself will be back on Friday night talking about the Trailblazers game. See what transpires there. Guys, thanks so much for listening to Locked On Mavs. Peace out. Boom!